I'm reading this piece for the security guard here who loved it in the book. It's called Home Alone with Aunt Jemima. I'm 6 or 7 years old and Dad is mostly in and out of the sanitarium with TB. Mom works as a seamstress in a clothing factory to support us. My sister Doris and I are latchkey kids during the school season. I have the house key tied to my belt loop with a long string and carefully stored in my front pants pocket. On top of our refrigerator is an Aunt Jemima cookie jar, now belongs to Pauline Finlay. As far back as I remember, Mom always told us that whenever we were home alone, Aunt Jemima is watching everything we do and tells Mom when she comes home from work. We may suspect it isn't true, but we're not willing to take any chances. We're very careful about anything we do or say within Aunt Jemima's range of hearing or line of sight. We're sure she'd rat us out in a second if what Mom said is true. This is called penny candy. There are 2 penny candy stores across the street from Francis Reed Elementary School, on both the east and west corners. Frank's specializes in exotic and fanciful candy, foods, and toys like chewable wax lips and mustaches, candy dots on strips of paper, and slices of Jewish pickles and Chinese finger puzzles. If you're really flush, you can get a whole Jewish pickle for a nickel and secretly nibble on it all afternoon in class. The main attraction at Frank's for a lot of boys is Lucy's, 2 Lucky Strikes for a nickel. Most of us who toy with cigarettes just light them up and puff smoke without knowing how to inhale. My classmate Harry smokes Lucy's around the corner from school and he inhales them. He plays saxophone, never does homework, always roams the streets with his coat open in the coldest winter. Miss Porter says he'll come to a bad end. I like Harry, but think he's too wild to ever be friends with. The other penny candy store on the east side of our school is Mrs. Ashley's, run by a genteel English lady who smells of perfume and powder. She sells more traditional chocolates, candy bars, licorice, pretzel rods, and sugar babies. At Mrs. Ashley's, I'm always well behaved and extra nice because I think Mrs. Ashley would be offended by rudeness or bad behavior. I always smile and say thank you when she hands me my licorice or a pretzel rod. I want to finish with Blonded by the Light. Mom drags me kicking and screaming to Francis Reed Elementary School, deposits me in Mrs. Donahue's first grade classroom. I'm angry and upset, and I don't notice much or pay attention until recess, when all the boys are asked to line up single file in the schoolyard. All the girls are asked to form a separate line alongside the boys. Lightning strikes when least expected. At front of the girls' line stands a young girl with blue eyes and yellow hair. Never in my life have I ever seen anyone with other than dark brown or black hair. She stands calmly in front of the other girls in a halo of light and sparkling yellow hair. I'm instantly love-struck. Marilyn Monroe will soon be called the blonde bombshell, but for me, Dorothy Marchese is forever the only blonde bombshell I acknowledge. I ask Mom how an Italian girl can have yellow hair and blue eyes. She says Italians in northern Italy are different. They're often lighter skinned with blonde hair and blue eyes. I learned that her father owns a furniture store on Passyunk Avenue about 2 blocks from Camac Street. I often peek in the front window after school, hoping to catch a glimpse of my dream girl. Dorothy and I spent 6 years in the same classroom without her ever saying hello, speaking to me, or so much as acknowledging my existence. No matter. I leave unsigned Valentine cards on her desk every year, but never have the courage to talk to her and let her know that the cards were from me. For 6 years, I stare at her endlessly in wonderment and amazement, not able to imagine anyone more beautiful in the world. After graduating from Francis Reed, I'd never see Dorothy again. But for the rest of my life, every fantasy of romance, love, sex, or marriage involves a beautiful blonde. Thank you.